The blaring of sirens shattered the silence of the night, ripping millions of people from their sleep. At first, it was only a few heavy raindrops, but within moments, the sky tore open with thunderous roars as rain poured down like a waterfall. Then, without warning, raging floodwaters surged in, swallowing the entire city within hours. The people screamed and ran in despair. Familiar streets turned into swirling rivers, swallowing cars and houses. Many could only grab their children and rush outside as the roof behind them collapsed. Children wailed, the elderly collapsed, and everything was engulfed in an unimaginable scene of chaos. In the darkness, cries for help echoed, mingled with the screech of corrugated iron and the crumbling of walls. The lucky ones who managed to climb onto rooftops still trembled as they watched the murky black water sweep away everything they once had. In an instant, a bustling city had turned into a vast ocean, a suffocatingly haunting image. At daybreak, people stepped out of their shelters, only to be stunned into silence by the sight before them. The entire streets were blanketed in thick, sticky mud. Cars lay overturned, piled on top of each other like toys. Houses lay in ruins, with rooftops swept away and walls shattered. Whole villages had vanished without a trace, leaving behind nothing but a vast expanse of mud. Thousands of families returned only to find their homes reduced to piles of rubble. Many dug through the mud in search of keepsakes, a photograph, a toy, but most found nothing but fragments. A little child clutched a soaked teddy bear, the only memory left after the Great Flood. Reporters captured images that broke the nation's heart. Fathers bowing their heads in tears, mothers holding their children with no home to return to. Bridges lay destroyed, railways swept away, and transportation paralyzed. Satellite images revealed vast fields submerged under murky water, crops, livestock, and a lifetime of livelihoods gone in an instant. In the cramped shelters, hundreds of families crowded together on thin mats. Children slept curled up, while the elderly gasped for breath from exhaustion. Cries, groans, and the heavy silence of despair filled the air. Hospitals were overwhelmed. Doctors worked to the point of exhaustion, and many surgeries took place under the light of flashlights and candles. Some were injured in collapsing houses, others infected after being submerged in filthy water for too long. Doctors treated patients while fearing an outbreak of disease. Clean water became more precious than gold. With long lines of people clutching plastic containers, waiting for their turn. The farmer broke down in tears as he saw his entire rice field submerged in mud, his livestock drowned in their pens. The once bustling markets now stood empty, while prices climbed higher each day. With food and medicine in short supply, anxiety spread everywhere. In the midst of hardship, every bowl of warm rice, every bottle of water handed out by volunteers became a fragile glimmer of hope. Amid the devastation, tens of thousands of people still threw themselves into danger to save others. Helicopters filled the skies, dropping food into isolated areas. Small boats braved the rushing waters to carry residents away from their half-submerged homes. Rescue dogs sniffed through the rubble, finding survivors still trapped. Firefighters carried children on their shoulders, wading through the raging waters. Ordinary people became heroes, neighbors saving neighbors, friends pulling each other back from the brink. On television, stories brought the entire nation to tears. A father shielding his child with his own body, a group of volunteers cooking through the night for hundreds of strangers, a doctor performing emergency surgery by the light of a cell phone. In the midst of the mournful darkness, compassion shone brightly. As the floodwaters slowly receded, the work of rebuilding began. Bulldozers and excavators labored day and night to clear the mud. Trucks loaded with cement, wood, and steel rolled into the flooded areas. Engineers inspected bridges and roads, restoring the transportation routes that had been destroyed. The government promised financial aid, while relief convoys poured in from across the country and abroad. Clothes, medicine, and food were distributed daily. Psychologists helped children cope with trauma, and volunteers organized games to bring smiles back to their young faces. But the road ahead remains long. Many families have lost everything, and many people have decided to leave the land they had cherished all their lives. Experts warn that recovery could take years, even decades. Yet amid the ruins, hope never faded. Survivors vowed to rebuild their homeland. Stories of courage and solidarity spread across the nation. And though this flood has left scars that can never be erased, it has also proven one thing: the strength and resilience of the human spirit can never be defeated.